This is Chuck Rapp with Multiply, a podcast to provide a word of encouragement for village church planters. Today I'd like to share some lessons from one of my favorite Bible characters, Barnabas. We're first introduced to this man in Acts chapter 4, verses 36 and 37, where we learn that Barnabas wasn't his birth name. Rather, it's recorded that Joseph, a Levite from Cyprus, whom the apostles called Barnabas, which means son of encouragement, sold a field he owned and brought the money and put it at the apostles' feet. Apparently, this man was such an encourager of people that the apostles renamed him Barnabas, or son of encouragement. This is the character trait for which Barnabas was known and is remembered to this day. Briefly, I'd like to share 3 lessons from Barnabas' life, 3 things we should seek to duplicate. Firstly, he was generous with his finances. As we just read, he sold a field he owned, and he brought the money and put it at the apostles' feet. Next, he spoke on behalf of Paul when everyone else was skeptical about him. This story is in Acts chapter 9, verses 26 to 31, and it's recorded that when he, Paul, came to Jerusalem, he tried to join the disciples, but they were all afraid of him, not believing that he really was a disciple. But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles. Apparently, Barnabas was so well respected and trusted by the apostles that they were willing to accept his testimony on behalf of Paul. The third lesson is he spent time with John Mark, when he had failed. In an earlier message in which I addressed 3 positions of leadership, I spoke of the leader who stands behind the fallen one to restore him. Barnabas did exactly that in Acts 15, 36 through 39. Sometime later, Paul said to Barnabas, "Let's go back and visit the believers in all the towns where we preached the word of the Lord and see how they're doing." Barnabas wanted to take John, also called Mark, with them, but Paul didn't think it wise to take him because he had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in the work. They had such a sharp disagreement that they parted company. Barnabas took Mark and sailed for Cyprus. I am amazed that Barnabas was willing to part ways with the great apostle Paul so that he could restore John Mark. What an encourager he was. In closing, I'd like to point us to the results of Barnabas' encouragement. If it weren't for Barnabas, we wouldn't have, firstly, Paul's apostles, nor Mark's gospel, nor the rapid spread of the gospel in the early church. Be like Barnabas. Be an encourager. This has been a word of encouragement for village church planters.